So, how does a mother wound affect a woman? I want to start by saying that a mother wound does not start outside of the womb, our uterus. It does not start outside of it. And I think that's what most people think. They're like, well, it starts by your mother doing all of these things to you outside of the womb. And that's just not true. It starts inside the womb. And I discovered this, believe it or not, after I became a doula. And I want to talk about this in particular because it's so important, the mother wound, and understanding it. Many don't understand energy is transferable, especially mother energy. The mother energy is extremely, it's very strong. In the womb, you are nurtured by your mother and her energy. And it's so interesting to me because I actually researched the etymology of nurture, the actual word itself, and I discovered the word literally means suckle or feed, which is so interesting. So the key to the word is in the meaning. What is your mother feeding you? Think about it. What is she feeding you? Are you suckling pain, trauma, anger from your mother? And most importantly, does it belong to you or does it belong to your mother? That pain, that trauma, that anger. Your mother feeds you the energy that consumes her. Isn't that amazing? Just think about it. That can be incredibly awesome or it can be incredibly dangerous depending on who your mother is and what type of energy she is exuding every day. I feel like we are mainly focused on generational trauma, which is equally important. I'm not denying that. However, our root problems stem from the womb, if you look at it. We share space with our mother's organs for 9 months. Think about that. A woman or a birthing person, because I don't want to offend anyone on this video or podcast, we share space with her organs for 9 months. A woman or a birthing person organs move to make space for a growing baby. We need to remember that. To me, that is miraculous. Like, it's so amazing that our bodies, in a sense, shapeshift for our child. So we have a strong nurturing connection to our moms. I think it's so important to understand the sensitivity of the womb as well, because babies are super sensitive in the womb. In fact, I remember one time when actually it was during my doula training where the lady who was over the program for my training, she was actually talking about how sensitive babies were in the womb and how it's super important to be in an environment that is healthy when you're pregnant, not one that is unhealthy or not safe, because any little thing that the baby can hear while in the womb can really affect them in some way. And I found that fascinating. And I also found out about birth trauma in the womb and all of that. And I remember her specifically saying that if a baby were to hear like a siren or some type of siren, or let's say it was like an ambulance, the baby would just jump and move in the womb because it can hear all of that at a certain point. When the baby develops hearing, when they develop hearing, they move. Even if the mom were to experience some form of trauma herself, let's say somebody hit her or punched her, like, babies can feel all of that while the mother is pregnant. So we have to really understand the sensitivity. And I think if we really got to the root of that, we would really start focusing on that primarily. A mother wound can be generational inflicted. Think about the trauma your mother is carrying from her own mother. If your mother is nurturing you or feeding you, suckling you, or however it goes with that same pain, you are going to have a mother wound. It's going to be passed down from generation to generation, you know, and it all starts with the womb. It starts with your mother's womb. It starts with her womb and her mother's womb and your grandmother's womb and your grandmother's mother's womb. See how it goes and keeps on going? It's like the gift that keeps on giving that nobody really wants. So generational, it can be generational. So I'm not saying that that's not important, because I just have a lot of issues with my own mother, and our relationship is somewhat difficult for that reason, because my mother also has a mother wound as well that she never healed from. And in a sense, that frustrates me. I also wish that someone would have educated me about the mother wound, but I'm not sure if anything beats self-education. Because when I reevaluate my relationship with my own mother, I feel like I allow myself to think deeper about my mother at a comfortable pace, because at first I feel like I was in somewhat denial about my mother passing on her trauma to me. And I don't know if I was as accepting of it at first, because I always felt like I had to kind of just protect my mother in some way. And if you look at any of the signs of a mother wound, that's one of the symptoms. You always feel like you have to protect your mother in some way, when in actual reality, your mother has really done nothing for you to protect her. Like, she has not given you a reason to protect her in some way. She has inflicted so much trauma and so much pain upon you, and that's really what my mother has done. And that was difficult to accept at first, because I know what a healthy mother and daughter relationship looks like. I know half of the things my mother did to me, I would never do to my own daughter. And I would never put her through that. And that's why I have been doing the work, and I have been doing inner work to heal my own mother wounds, so I won't pass down those same traumas and those same generational curses and all those things to her. I just want her to be free of that. I don't want her to be in an environment that she has to heal from. I don't want her to do that. So I have done the work on myself to get better. And I'm loving the me that I see now, because I feel like it's the me that I want to mother my daughter and to mother myself. Because when you have a mother wound, you have to mother yourself. You have to parent yourself. And you have to, in a sense, raise yourself. I like to say it like that, raise yourself. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I have done. And it's been such a wonderful journey. And if you are on your healing journey too, I highly suggest that you check out my transformational course and book, Beautiful Light Energy, because it's been such a blessing to me. Because I feel like my course and book is something that I wish I would have had when I was going through all of these symptoms of the mother wound. And I feel like so much of the course is me, I feel like it's so much, it talks so much about the mother wound, and it talks so much about, your womb, period, the uterus, and how special and sacred your uterus is, and how you should guard it at all times, and how to clear trauma from the womb itself, the uterus. So I talk about all of that in the course, and I feel like if you are someone dealing with the same thing that I dealt with in terms of a mother wound, then you should definitely be checking it out, and you should definitely be listening to this podcast all the time, and you should definitely be watching it on YouTube all the time, because I just enjoy making this kind of content for you all. It puts me in a hot place, a hot spot, because I don't normally share my personal life like this, and I feel like this is like the first time that I'm doing that. And I get kind of scared sharing things like that, but I feel like I have to, because I want to be authentic with my audience. Yes. And I want other women and other mothers to relate to me, because I'm also a mother, and I feel like they should know this information, especially as a doula. I feel like pregnant women need to know this information too. Pregnant women who have experienced trauma. There's a lot of pregnant women who are not in healthy environments, who are not in safe environments. They're around people who don't care for them. As a peer counselor, I can tell you, I run into so many cases, and I speak to so many participants who are going through a hard time, who are going through a rough time. And I feel like if they knew about these things, if they were educated about these things, I feel like they would have such a better position in life, or they would have such a better idea, or a better mindset, and a better outlook on life. And that's my mission as a doula. I want to make sure that all mothers have this information, and they don't have to heal from anything. I want them to be, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I want them to take this information and learn from it, do the inner work, and thrive, and be able to unleash their inner light, their beautiful light energy.
The queen bee is none other than my mother. My eyes are wide open, looking down. I guess my mother was mad about whatever, but I still love her. These bright or indigo palm lines tell stories. Excerpt from Beautiful Light Energy by Zari Love.